come back and take a look at the local dailies in depth. All right, we start off with the standard. Questions abound. Shadows of doubt from the unsettling calm of the bus driver who explained a fatal crash as casually as the weather to the early claims that Cyrus Jirongo drove straight into the nose of an oncoming bus. Doubts are mounting over whether the former Lugari MP died in a simple accident. Friends say Jirongo had over time expressed fears for his safety. Now they are demanding answers about what really happened on the road. In a country where high-profile deaths in road crashes often end in inconclusive investigations, they insist this case cannot be brushed aside as routine. Now we have former Vihiga Senator here, George Hamiri, saying, I asked why he was still out having fun, yet him, Kisia and I had an important meeting the next day. He told me that he had finished and was just about to go home. There was no talk of him going to Naivasha. Philip Kisia is also quoted here on the other side. He was a man of the people, an intentional businessman. Lately, he had gotten into some very good business dealing in minerals from DRC and other countries. He was a threat to some people. Mystery accident, according to this newspaper. How did Jirongo end up driving towards Nairobi from Nakuru, yet he had been in Nairobi till 11 p.m. Friday night and had no plans of leaving the city? Why would they have called his caretaker in Gigiri at 10 p.m., informing him he will be home in a few minutes, yet he was away from the city? Why would a head-on collision leave little damage to the body as seen at the scene by his friend George Haniri? And why would the driver whose bus had crushed a fellow human being remain calm as he narrated details of the accidents? This is the only story covered on the front page of the Standard this morning. They talk more about it on page 4. You can take a look at it. Lugari MP passed away on Friday. Was it on Friday or Saturday?
Yeah,
on Saturday.
It was on Saturday after Jamhuri Day.
Yeah. Other quick headlines on the inside pages. Beyond the bleed, hemophilia patients fight invisible battles. Major Matiang'i forged a distinctive voice reflecting Kenya's reality is another story there. KGC, high achievers torn between arts, sports and sciences. A lot of uncertainties around the just released KGC results. Parents are quite unsure about
apparently the new EEs. Yeah. The high E, not the lower E anymore.
Exceeding expectations.
Yes, exceeding expectations. You know, the E graders as they were classified before. Yeah, but also just as you're flipping through, it's good for the literates in the country who they knew, Major Matiang'i and also David Mulwa. These are some of the iconic literates that we've had in the countries. Who've passed on. So it's also just good to just remember them and reminisce some of their works that they've actually had out there, some of the books as well. I remember my mother had a lot of some of his books, you know, the African literature, Okotbitek, Ngugi wa Thiong'o. This is when you could even just flip through the books, you can't understand. The English there was just way too complicated, going way over our heads when we were around class 5 there. But I remember Major Matiang'i, Francis Mbugua, David Mulwa as well. So these are good people who have shaped our literary course in the country, that they deserve also our reckoning because of what they've done for us.
Right. On the back page of the Standard, Tusker move joint top of Premier League with Kenya Police. The Brewers saw off Sofapaka 2-0 yesterday. Police and Tusker tie the top with 21 points. That's Matters Sports, and that's the Standard. Let's move on to the Star.
Yes, this is a Star. Hotel bookings up as bus firms increase fares. This is bound to happen, so don't complain. You know, over Christmas you need to top up your budget when it comes to traveling. This will go up. Businesses struggle amidst reduced incomes as well. We're talking about also pecuniary embarrassment, that people normally talk about. I learned it from one of the professors there. We don't call it that, you know, I'm broke. No, I'm in a bit of a pecuniary embarrassment.
Must be a lure.
So this is it. It's tucked on page 4 and 5 of the Star this morning. Ruto now takes 2027 battle to regath his Mount Kenya doorstep. And this is on page 9 of the publication today. Of course, you know, this is bound to be heightening right now as we're heading towards the 2027 election. Just a snippet of what was happening also yesterday at the IPCEA church. That also is just very telling of how intense the Mount Kenya battle is getting right now. So you can follow the story on page 9 of today's publication. Just as Annie mentioned there, Cyrus Jirongo, police experts table new theory. Many questions that, of course, we've read also from the Standard there, abounding, that wants to be answered, so people cannot really connect the dots on how this was. You can see the wreckage, very devastating. It was just a mangled wreckage there. You know, if you look at it, wondering if someone can really escape out of it, but even the skin of your teeth is, you know, will be a miracle. And this is Cyrus Jirongo. Of course, the country continued to mourn. We remember him as a stalwart, a luminary figure in our political landscape as well. We've lost a giant. So these questions that are rising regarding businesses, minerals, they can be quite intense. Was he a threat to anyone? Was there any deal that went sour and dour? That's another question that we want also answered, as that some of the political operatives and associates of Jirongo are mentioning. Also on top, politics. Ayako defends Bigori record, dismisses Ochilo by narrative. Right, so that story is on page 12. And there is an interview there with Joel Rao, why the battleground is no longer retail shelves. You can read all the details there on strategy, page 6 of the publication today.
Smart people read the Star. Grab a copy at 60 Kenya shillings. Fresh, independent and different. Taifa Leo, ODM itaendea urais mwaka 2027. Huyo ni Winnie. Wanasema kwamba ni taharuki. Tangazo la Winnie Odinga linajiri majuma kadhaa baada ya baadhi ya viongozi wa ODM kusema hawatakubali kiti chochote chini ya naibu rais katika ushirikiano wao na UDA katika uchaguzi mkuu wa mwaka 2027. Na kauli ya binti Raila yaibua maswali kuhusu hatima ya ushirikiano baina ya UDA na ODM katika serikali jumuishi, broad-based government. This story is on page 2. I know you're going to talk about it in the State of the Nation.
Indeed.
Pepo la ajali msimu wa sikukuu la meza watu 8 tena.
We bind it. This paper, we bind it.
Shindwe kabisa.
Kabisa.
You know, there's a way they say it in your I don't know if it's riswa or what. Riswa. Na kemea. Ajali ya jana asubuhi katika eneo la Nyamira iliyoangamiza abiria 8 ni miongoni mwa visa vingi vya ajali vinavyozidi kuangamiza maisha wa Kenya katika msimu huu wa sikukuu. Vidokeza zaidi, maswali ya gumo kwa kifo cha Jirongo ni habari nyingine katika ukurasa wa pili. IBC yabuni mbinu mpya ya kusajili watu milioni 6. Tume yasema itatumia watu wanaohitimu bali si waliohitimu umri. Continuous voter registration inaendelea. It's continuous, so please register as a voter 2027. Isikuwe too hot air pale social media. Kanuni za kufuata ukiwa pwani. It's a holiday season. This story has been covered on page 5. You're being told hoteli za Mriwa ziwe na waokoaji, wageni wakipimiwa muda wa kuwa baharini. Arsenal yaponea padogo kuumwa na mbwa mwitu. Vijana wa Arteta wadumisha mwanya kileleni mwa EPL kibahati tu, na Wakenya 82 waliokwama vitani Urusi wafichuliwa. Wengine wameaga dunia wakipigana dhidi ya Ukraine. That's Taifa Leo. Daily Nation.
Revealed identities of Kenyans in Russia war. Just follow up of what was on Taifa Leo there. Tip of the iceberg. Officials say more than 200 Kenyans may be fighting for Russia in Ukraine. And you have that story tucked to on page 4 and 5, where the sub-headline is reading names of at least 82 Kenyans lured into fighting for Russia in the war with Ukraine. Some dead, others injured, and most desperate for help to flee the war zone can now be revealed. Their distress is captured in official correspondence between the Kenyan embassy in Moscow and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on page 4 and 5. Many of them, unbeknownst, maybe looking for greener pastures, they were lured into this thinking they are going for, you know, some of this wader and security, security, what do they call it, this bulky guys, yeah, that they normally in the clubs and all.
Bouncers.
Yeah, bouncers, yeah, that's the name which is eluding me. So most of them thought they were actually going into this, and apparently it turned out to be something else. So some of them are coming home, you know, in body bags. Very unfortunate. You can follow this story on page 4 and 5 of the publication today. How Jirongo's NSSF scam collapse post-bank credit. That is the story that you want to follow on page 10 of today's publication. Of course, there are all these questions that will arise, him of declaring bankruptcy and all the business deals that went sour as well. They're bound to be emerging right now. But you have the story on page 10 of the publication. Hurdles in senior school admission, 1.1 million. That is the number of students who completed junior school this year. Also, 8 relatives killed in Nyamira horror road accident. Members of the same family traveling to their uncle's burial died in an accident along the Kericho-Nyamira road, raising concerns over rising highway deaths ahead of the festive season. That story on page 30 of today's publication of the Daily Nation. Also, scandal of negligent deaths, Shaft Road Rock Mission Hospital. You have the story on page 2 and 3. And this is Sisto Mazzoldi Hospital services there that has been put as an insert. So we don't know if this is actually the story that goes along with it.
It's a special feature.
It's a special feature inside the Daily Nation today. Winnie, why ODM must go for top seat in 2027, right?
That's the Daily Nation. Let's cross over to Business Daily. UK court orders Tycoon to pay SportPesa co-owners 374 million. They say London-based court has ordered Kenyan businessman Paul Ndungu to reimburse his co-shareholders and rivals in SportPesa Global Holdings Limited that amount before January 9th after losing a legal bid to reinstate his 17% stake in the firm. M-Pesa trail text bust tax bribery at KRA is another story here, covered on page 2. On the ticker, government misses affordable housing buyer target in June. And they say less than 300 Kenyans registered to buy the state's affordable houses by June 2025. New disclosures show debunking statements by bureaucrats that close to 1 million Kenyans had enrolled to purchase units under the scheme. Oh, wow. So Kenyans have actually looking to get these houses. Sasa kama unadhani haiwork, ina work. Kwa wengine. World Bank expresses concerns over Kenya's high mobile data costs and how wide the electricity margins lifted Kenya power net profits.
You cannot just escape this. World Bank says what? World Bank expresses concerns over Kenya's high mobile data costs. All right, guys, people out there, they're not paying as much as we paying for, for these services as well. And I think if it's breaking even, these telcos, by now they should have broken even. We are being taken for a ride when it comes to some of these mobile transactions that they're quite exorbitant. So if World Bank says, there's a high market concentration and regulatory inaction in Kenya's telecom sector have made mobile data prices high compared to regional peers, then we should take a look into it. I think the concerned, institutions should actually take this very seriously, because Kenyans also are really, on the mobile.
Right.
With the people, with the M-Pesa, with the Airtel money, and all this T-Cash as well, if it's still there. It's made everything very convenient, but, at a very exorbitant price right now. This is on the economy, page 5 of the Business Daily.
If you buy data worth, say, 1 GB for 1 hour, it won't finish that 1 hour. It will end.
Seriously,
in 10 minutes, it's over.
Yeah, or your call will be connected shortly. And you wonder, oh, really? Your call will, if you go to the call, you're like, oh, no, really?
Oh, my goodness. Finally, People Daily. People.
That is Matiang'i's rise shakes the opposition, rattles Ruto. And new rallying call, that's a problem question, right? So is this just hyperbole from the media? And of course, nowadays everyone is driving their own narratives. But of course, this also will be a slice to dice with our panelists much later in the course of the program. Raymond Omolo's rising star, political home or partisan hype. That is what is the question there. And you can read the story on page 8 of the publication today. But he's quite a workhorse. This is Dr. Raymond Omolo, very cool, calm, and collected guy. But of course, he makes the ripples, you know, when it comes to issuing policies, shaking into place, of course, structures within government, Ministry of Interior. A lot of questions. You can never hear him really talking much, but he's a guy who is rocking, of course, and rattling the cage when it comes to policy making. He
was rated the top performing principal secretary.
Yes.
Last week.
Yes.
All right.
Kiambu Church fight. Local leaders' tough wars play out in front of president. So this is not really the first time. You may remember also when there was a burial there of Kimani Ichung'wah's dad, and he got really a cold shoulder from everyone. That is the governor of Kiambu. Even him was not given just that particular podium to welcome everyone in his own county. Very telling. So it's playing out in church again, and we shall be looking out at this. What is really happening? Because this is really telling of maybe just the political dynamics in the Mount Kenya region, and the fight between the Jubilee Party, the fight between the DCP and other constituents parties in that particular arena. So we can see that is on page 7 of the People Daily. People and politics and smart minds as well, as they say here.
Once again, State of the Nation.
Yes, and these are the brains that we shall be picking just to tell us more about what they think about the changing landscape in the country, that is politically, looking at political optics and experiences that are being postured by every politician right now. And we have Mesha Kodede, political commentator, Kibe Mungai, advocate of the High Court, Joshua Nyamori, advocate of the High Court as well.
All right, let's take a look at what the Katinites are saying this morning.
Yes.